Hello everyone, and welcome to another Company Heroes 2 replay cast. My name is ATR, and today we're gonna have ourselves a 1v1 on Langreskaya. Our heroes today are going to be Mr. OKW Tanckx, playing as, well, the OKW forces, and his opponent in the blue is going to be Mr. Pantherswag, playing as the Soviet forces. We see that both players have selected their doctrines right off the bat. We see Pantherswag going for the armored assault tactics, giving him the radio intercept wall hacks, which allow him to know what his enemy is building and making. And also calls in the T-34 85s and the IS-2. So yeah, I mean, it gives you a lot of power late game. Mr. Tanckx, for his part, is going for the Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine. More of a safe doctrine because it has the MG-34, which allows the OKW to, you know, control territory and not get overrun. Off the bat, we do see that Tanckx has gotten himself 2 Volksgrenadier squads, and Pantherswag has gone for 2 conscripts, but also building a second combat engineer squad. Second combat engineer squad coming into the field to build tier 1. So again, we're seeing a lot of tier 1 being utilized, but the method and form in which it's utilized seems to vary greatly. Pantherswag not building it right off the bat. He decides to start with 2 conscripts to have a combat force on the field, and then after that we'll follow it up. We'll probably see a scout car from here. I can only assume we're also going to see penal battalions, as they are, you know, rather good. But I guess we shall have to wait and see. So, Tanckx is moving into the center. Storm Pioneers and conscripts engaging. The conscripts will lose this engagement at close range. The Storm Pioneers did manage to close the distance with 3 members left. However, with a second conscript squad and a combat engineer squad to support, the Storm Pios will have to retreat. They do manage to inflict massive amounts of damage here to the conscript squad as it gets brought down to 1 man, but they are forced to backpedal as combat engineers and conscripts are engaging them. Volksgrenadiers are currently distracting the conscripts in the center as they got a flank on them. The conscripts are turning their sights on the Storm Pioneers as the Storm Pioneers are able to dish out, as I said, a lot of damage at close range, managing to kill 1 more member of the combat engineer squad, but they do end up falling to 1 man before they are forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers do have the range here, and they will win against the combat engineers, but not before they decap the point. The combat engineers will not be able to cap the point unless they want to die. I don't think so. Yeah, there you go. They have to retreat because they would not survive otherwise. Scout car is on the field for Pantherswag. We'll see if he does end up building any penals or if it's just the scout car. The scout car is currently up in the north. Combat engineers with flamethrowers now equipped. Volksgrenadiers now caught out of position here by the scout car. They are forced to retreat, but the scout car will be chasing them down. It's actually chasing them in reverse, managing to keep the 50 cal machine gun facing them, and the flamethrower able to provide a lot of damage. Turns itself around to be able to chase them down and get as much damage as he can. Maybe able to pick up the kill. The Volksgrenadiers are coming up on them. They don't have any natural defenses against this car by default, and oh, the scout car is unable to close the deal, and the Volksgrenadier barely makes it out of there alive. Storm Pio squad moves out preemptively onto the field, trying to stop the scout car. Manages to, you know, throw its support in there, losing one of its members to the flames, and is forced to retreat once again. More conscripts are getting built for Pantherswag, so it does not look like he's going to be building any penal battalions. It looks like he's going to be content to simply utilize the scout car and the flamethrower. Combat engineers pop out of the scout car to repair. Volksgrenadiers move in its direction. They pop back in, and the scout car is getting damage at range. Even without the combat engineers, the scout car is able to provide a lot of damage at range with that 50 cal. The Volksgrenadiers are forced to retreat. They're going to retreat through the path, or the gap there in the hedgerow that was introduced in later versions of this map. And they make it out of there just fine. More Volksgrenadiers getting pushed around. None of them are capable of getting the Shreks just yet. So the scout car, again, is just moving around without any opposition. They need 90 munitions, which we're seeing right there. And yeah, you can see the Tanckx is 77 just yet, so it's going to take a while. Half-track, or supply half-track on the field for Tanckx. Sandbags getting laid down for Pantherswag. Although he's not finishing any of them. He's starting to lay down, but since Volksgrenadiers are flooding forward. He decides that he instead wants to provide some fire support there. Conscript squad in the center, down to 2 men, forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers are forced to retreat very quickly. 1 squad remains. It backpedals a little bit. It is probably in range to get reinforced here by the building, the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. And with the Mechanized Regiment headquarters on the field, it looks like Tanckx is going to be getting himself. Once again, we see the appearance of the flag half-track, and with that, he should be able to push the conscripts. Storm Pioneers are coming here on the flank. These conscripts could actually start building. No, now they can't. And the conscripts behind. Scout car with his flamethrower still pushing forward. Storm Pioneers not managing to do too much to it because it's a Storm Pioneer squad. And the Volksgrens continue to push forward. We have finally 90 munitions on Volksgrenadiers. I mean, on... for tanks. So one of the Volksgrenadier squads is going to get upgraded. It looks like it's going to be this lucky squad right here with 4 members. So at least 1 Shrek will be present. And that means that the scout car is no longer going to reign supreme. But very, very strong push here early on for Pantherswag with that. Doing a lot of damage to Tanckx. And he can still use it to harass on the edges. You know, it's just not going to be a mainline unit. Flag half-track now on the field for Mr. Tanckx. Hits a mine. Gets its engine damage. Conscripts, Ura forward. Getting themselves in range to throw an AT grenade. AT grenade does go off. The flag half-track has taken a lot of damage. It is down to a sliver of health. The scout car could potentially be sacrificed to take it down. If it actually moves forward, the 50 cal machine gun should be able to provide enough small arms fire to take it out. But, you know, he's going to be playing it safe. He doesn't want to risk that. He's going for the side approach, which is nice because there was the Shrek right there. Gets itself in range. There goes the 50 cal. Can he finish off the flag half-track? Flamethrower burst going off. Flag half-track setting up. And down it goes. Nice pickup there for Mr. Pantherswag. He's probably... Oh, no. The Shrek actually missed. I was going to say he was probably going to lose his scout car in the process, but no. Massive blow here to Tanckx. Very early lead here for Pantherswag. Getting rid of that flag half-track is pivotal here for his success. And his scout car is still on the field, still being a pain in the ass. And the center has fallen as Pantherswag pushes forward, and all the Volks are forced to retreat. Everybody's back at base. Tanckx does not have any field presence. The only thing out there is an MG-34 that is currently defending the strategic point so that he doesn't get bled too quickly. But even the point right outside his base has been harassed here by the conscripts. The conscripts are gonna hold a little bit, but with a lot of bullets flying in their direction, even with the support of another conscript squad, they will end up losing. Storm Pioneer squad does take a lot of damage though, so it's forced to retreat. Conscripts continue to hold. The Volksgrenadiers could throw a grenade. I mean, it does cost 30 munitions, so that would pretty much spend all the munitions for Tanckx. So he decides that all he wants is just volume of fire to come through. Scout car on the side, harassing the MG-34s. We do have 2 MG-34s on the field for Tanckx. And the Volksgrens do close the distance, getting themselves right on top of the conscripts. We do have a conscript squad behind it for support, so the Volksgrenadiers are taking quite a beating, but the conscripts at point blank, they will not survive, so they have to retreat. Down to 2 men. Scout car harassing on the sides. The Shrek will take a shot. May actually hit it. No, it does not take a shot, and stays safe. Pantherswag in excellent position right now, has pretty much the entirety of the map in his control. And conscripts do have the luxury here of heavy cover, so they are able to withstand a lot of punishment and a lot of shots flying in their direction. Shrek equipped Volksgrenadier squad does take a shot at the scout car, also takes a lot of damage and is forced to retreat. But it stays alive. It's going to pop out its combat engineers and repair. And the conscripts that were trying to hold the front line by themselves are finally forced off of their heavy cover. And Tanckx has a little bit of a breather. Back at base, a lot of conscripts getting reinforced. These 2 squads are fully reinforced, so they can actually head out onto the field without having to wait. We see combat engineers building themselves tier 3. Very risky maneuver, very aggressive. You're not going to have access to anti-tank guns, and he will have, I guess T-34s will be his anti-tank. Of course, Pantherswag, like we said, does have the Collins that he could do, but those are until the tank command points, and he is only at 5 now. So instead of waiting, he's going to go ahead and build, get himself some type of vehicle on the field, you know, exploit the advantage that he has with the massive amount of fuel income that he has compared to his opponent. I mean, that's a 12 compared to a 33. And that is only because Tanckx has managed to recover some territory. Conscripts on the left, forcing away the Volkskrins as they were trying to recover some small amounts of territory. Scout car pushing into the center. Storm Pioneers are the ones there. They're getting flamed by the scout car. Mines have been laid down across the road for Mr. Pantherswag as well, so he is spending his munitions wisely. Shrek goes off to the scout car. The scout car very low in health. May actually die, but it does not look like there's any opponents in that direction, so it manages to just barely stay alive. Tanckx could go for the intercept, and it looks like he is trying to go. There it goes. Down goes the scout car, and the Combat Engineer squad does lose 2 of its members on the explosion. Hits retreat, manages to run the gauntlet as it had a conscript squad, or actually 2 conscript squad there to support it, even a 3rd one coming into the mix, and the Volkskrins and Storm Pios are forced to retreat, but thankfully, at least for Tanckx, he did manage to take out that scout car and, you know, get that thorn out of his foot. Center map, MG34 getting overwhelmed there by the conscript. The conscript's even ignoring it, going straight for the point. We do have an MG34 hold up in that house. The conscripts Ura away, getting themselves out of the range of the MG34. A couple extra shots get tossed in their direction, but the conscripts do manage to break the suppression and keep themselves alive. And the Combat Engineers are being utilized to capture the center point as conscripts are all over them. Conscripts up in the northern point trying to go for the cutoff. Volksgrenadiers stopping them and duking it out point blank in the sandbags. The Volksgrenadiers will lose the engagement as we have 3 conscript squads against 1 of them. They do manage to decap the point now, and the resources on the right have been cut off for Tanckx. So Tanckx not having really any respite here. No break getting caught. MG34 behind them getting set up, going to be able to get some shots on all the infantry in front of them, but since they are in heavy cover here by these sandbags, it's actually going to take quite a while before it gets suppressed. However, with a flanking MG34, that's going to seal the deal, and the conscripts will be forced to retreat. Second squad is over here on the hay bale. However, they were not properly set up in the heavy cover. Many of its members were on the side, so they managed to get quickly suppressed here by the MG34. They're crawling away, trying to stay alive, and it looks like they may actually do so. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be fine. They just crawl away and keep themselves on the ground. T-34 on the field, getting a flank there on that MG-34. We do have 2 Shreks on Volksgrenadiers, but that is the only threat that the T-34 currently faces. Never mind, there is a Raketenwerfer on the field. Raketenwerfer is back at base, making sure that nothing comes rushing in their way. So the T-34, you know, can't just simply walk into the base or waltz into the base and kill everything. It's going to run straight through the path of the Raketenwerfer. Raketenwerfer going to make itself known, takes a shot at the T-34. T-34 is going for the crush here, may actually crush the sandbags. Yes, it does crush the sandbags. So that removes the cover that the conscripts had. The conscripts are now dancing around. They're going to put themselves in another pair of sandbags that they already had placed because the T-34 was a jerk. He was very, you know, he didn't really care about his teammates, and he crushed the sandbags because they were simply in his way. What a douche. So anyways, conscript retreating from the center. Tanckx managing to push back, but still has the point decapped, so no resources for him. Conscripts are holding off by the hay bales here in the light cover. The MB-34 will be able to push him away, but it does have to turn its sights towards them, which it was not doing to begin with, so it's going to take a while. Conscripts decide, you know what? I know we're going to get shot, so we're going to retreat before that happens. We'll take maybe a little bit of damage here as we run through the Volksgrenadiers, but we're going to make it back home. And back at base, we do have some medics that should patch us up very easily. There we go. Combat Engineers repairing the T-34. This Combat Engineer squad is not the one that was in the scout car. This is the one. It's Veteran C3. Flamethrower equipped. I need oxygen in my brain, apparently. There we go. Sorry about that. So, yeah, I mean, the Combat Engineer squad out on the field, getting in between all the enemy troops. Flamethrower doing a lot of damage, loses one of its members. Volksgrenadiers getting flamed once again. They push forward, but the Combat Engineers, well, I mean, they're alone. They're not going to be living too long if they stay there, so they back off. Conscripts in the center, 3 conscripts at a time. They're getting a nice flank there on the Volksgrenadiers. One squad forced to retreat, the other one as well, as it realized where it was. But with an MG-34 on the field, it manages to catch 2 of the conscripts in its suppression cone, and the conscripts are going to be forced to retreat. They are crawling out of the way as the MG-34 does not have the same suppression values as the MG-42, so you're able to potentially crawl out of the way a little bit easier. but they were too far in there, too much in the thick of it, and it goes down. Conscripts do manage to cap the point. They could also finish building those sandbags if they wanted to, but they're not inclined to do so, it looks like. And on the far left, we have more conscripts capturing some territory. Back at base, still no Schwerpanzer headquarters. No additional vehicles. A second Raketenwerfer does come onto the field for Tanckx. And the T-34 has finally gotten fully repaired. Still not moving out. Now it is. As again, it is fully repaired. Right-hand side, conscripts and combat engineers. One Volksgren not going to make it, so it retreats. Mines are laid down here. They're not laid down across the path, so they're not going to hit anything, which is kind of good because that's a 5-man squad, and it is extremely unlikely that a single mine would wipe out the squad. I mean, sure, it's a little bit of manpower damage, but you kind of want your value mines, right? Volksgren's in the center, forcing the conscript away. They did not have the sandbags set up, so they were unable... Actually, no, the sandbags was set up. It's another sandbag over here. But anyways, I mean, it's 2 squads against 1, so they were unable to hold. T-34 moves up. Raketenwerfers turn their sight on it and takes some shots, takes some damage, down to about half health, so it now has to move out of the way. Combat engineers are nearby to help. We do have a second combat engineer squad, but it's currently moving over to the left-hand side, so the T-34 will take a little bit longer to be fully repaired. And the conscripts and combat engineers on the left do force away the Volksgrenadier squad. Center map, we have caps going on. We have Raketenwerfers pushing forward. It looks like they're trying to hunt down the T-34. T-34 moving out of the way. Raketenwerfer trying to set up, but it is out of its range and arc of fire before it is able to take a shot. The combat engineers did take some damage while doing so, but that was not due to them repairing, because at Veteran C3, the negative effects of repairing are eliminated. It says there, combat expertise reduces the risk of repairing while under fire. So yeah, I mean, what that means, at least what it meant before, I don't know if it changed, but yeah, it basically means that the negative bonuses that you get, which is increased accuracy against you when you're repairing in combat, it got removed, basically. Conscripts getting suppressed here by the MG-34. Grenade going off right on top of the conscripts. Quite a lot of damage, down to 2 men. The IS-2 is now on the field for Pantherswag as he decides to just wait for that one and call it in. Massive shot goes on the Volksgrenadier squad. Volksgrenadier squad down to 1 man. Tanckx flying at the IS-2, managing to stave off everything, all the bounces, no damage whatsoever, and the IS-2 is just pushing forward. Penal Battalion's on the field for Pantherswag, so haha, I was right. In the end, we did end up seeing a Penal Battalion. Raketenwerfers unable to do too much. We do still have the T-34. The T-34 is back at base, however. It looks like Pantherswag is currently microing that IS-2. Doing so very well. I mean, one of the Raketenwerfers has been killed. The Volksgrenadiers are taking quite a bit of damage. But now with everybody's, you know, spreads there, IL-2 Sturmovik getting called in as a strafing run right on top of everything. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of damage goes down. Squad's getting pinned. Forced to retreat to break the suppression. And the IS-2 is just sitting there. Oh my god, doing massive amounts of damage to the infantry. Raketenwerfer goes down. Volksgrenadiers sacrificing themselves to recover that. Volksgrenadiers just getting annihilated all over the place. Raketenwerfer and Shrek shots continue to fly. The IS-2 though has done a lot of damage, and this is what I was talking about last game. Oh, goes for the ram. Manages to destroy or eliminate the engine on the Puma. Puma goes down, and the T-34 sacrifices itself nobly to save his bigger brother IS-2. Tanckx on the Volksgrenadiers should be able to get the kill there on the T-34. T-34 is still able to provide some line of sight, but it should die rather soon. There it goes. Down goes the T-34. But that was a brilliant rush, a brilliant ram right there. Maybe not necessary, considering, you know, that there's there, but the Pumas are very good against the IS-2, so yeah, I mean, get it out of the field and get it out of the field now. It's not a bad idea. So Pantherswag essentially has Tanckx now pinned into his base. He's going to try and push out with his Tanckx. He does recover a Raketenwerfer. Little bit of a mistake there by Pantherswag, at least the Raketenwerfer that was right here on the outside. He could have moved the IS-2 at maximum range to just shoot it and destroy the weapon itself, even while it was being repaired and such. It wasn't really necessary to back off that much. And yeah, he wouldn't have had to deal with a second Rakuten Warfare now, which is unfortunately going to be doing, you know, significant amount of damage to the IS-2. So yeah, remember, when you decrew an enemy weapon, if you cannot take it for yourself, make sure you destroy it so that you're at least denying it to your opponent as well. So Volksgrens all have been equipped with Tanckx. We actually have a Fallschirmjäger squad on the field, but it's, well, back at base, so not doing anything. And combat engineers are capturing the munitions point at the same time that they repair the IS-2. The IS-2 is going to get shot here by the Tanckx. Combat engineers disengaging, moving forward to engage the Volksgrenadiers. Tanckx flying at the IS-2. The IS-2, again, down to about half health. Not catching a break as far as repairs goes, but it is a heavy tank, so it's able to withstand a lot of damage. And it's also able to dish out a lot of it. I mean, it already has 31 kills to its name, so... More sandbags getting laid down all across the field. The conscripts ending up retreating. We have conscripts going up behind the base. This flag gun is in range of some of this point, but not the very edge, so they managed to cap it without any opposition. Interesting. So demo charge getting laid down there for Mr. Pantherswag. It looks like he's aware of it. Tanckx actually saw him, so that's why he was shooting the Rakuten Warfares there to see if he could detonate it. But considering how it hit, I believe he already, you know, he feels that it should have already detonated if it was a mine. Obviously, he didn't know what was being laid down. And yeah. The game seems pretty over at this point, however. I don't see how Tanckx is going to recover from this. He would have to score a lucky kill there on the IS-2, but with Rakuten Warfares and Tanckx, it does not seem like he's having too much luck. We see demo charges getting laid down all over the place here for Pantherswag, so it looks like he's trying to get rid of the blob in one move, and it looks like he may be able to. It's right on the path. That is a beautiful demo charge. Oh! Down to one man on all of the squads. Yeah, if the game wasn't over before, it's definitely over now. The IS-2 does end up going down, so Tanckx, you know, actually managing to turn it around a little bit. Does end up losing one of its Volksgrenadier squads. However, the Fallschirmjäger over here may actually go down as well. It's having to run through a lot of rifles shooting at it, but the MG34 is in place to defend it. Can Tanckx, you know, turn it around? Well, the answer is no, because there is now another IS-2 on the field because Pantherswag had all the fuel in the world, and he's able to call in another one right away. Conscripts moving over to the right-hand side, going for the victory point. At the same time, they lay down some sandbags, more sandbags all over the place. The Rakuten Warfare is exposed there. The MG34 is there. But even before the IS-2 makes anything happen, Tanckx throws in the towel. He knows it's done. He knows he can't really hope to accomplish much else, and that is game. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the game. If you have any positive or negative remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you have any replays you want to send me, go ahead and send them to the email that I will put in the description. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.